There are courtroom moments that go beyond law, beyond justice, and beyond the simple reading of cases. They turn into stories of humanity, kindness, and lifelong friendship. Judge Frank Caprio, known across the world as the nicest judge in America, built his reputation not just on rulings, but on compassion. And standing beside him for years was Inspector Ziggy Quinn, a man whose bond with Caprio became one of the most heartfelt relationships inside the courtroom. Today, that friendship has turned into memories and tears, as Inspector Quinn delivered one of the most emotional tributes to the judge who touched millions of lives. From the very first time Judge Caprio sat behind the bench on Caught in Providence, he brought warmth to a setting often associated with fear and punishment. But what made the show even more memorable was the chemistry between Caprio and his courtroom inspector, Ziggy Quinn. Together, they created not just justice, but moments of laughter, kindness, and humanity. Their interactions were so natural, so genuine, that viewers across the globe felt as though they weren't watching a court proceeding, but rather two lifelong friends working side by side. Inspector Quinn was often the firm yet fair voice in the room, reminding defendants of the rules. But whenever Caprio looked his way with that familiar smile, it was clear. There was more than just professionalism between them. There was trust. There was brotherhood. And there was a deep respect that audiences could feel in every episode. One of the most remarkable aspects of their friendship was how they balanced each other. Judge Caprio's soft heart often led him to mercy, and Ziggy, while equally kind, kept the atmosphere grounded with humor and sharp wit. This combination created unforgettable exchanges. At times, a defendant would plead their case with emotion, and Caprio would glance toward Quinn, asking for his opinion. Quinn's responses, sometimes witty, sometimes serious, added a layer of warmth that humanized the courtroom even more. But beyond the cameras, their relationship was even deeper. They shared meals, stories, and family memories. They weren't just colleagues, they were like brothers. Quinn often said that Judge Caprio didn't simply teach law, he taught life. He showed everyone around him that justice is not just about punishment, it's about understanding. So when the time came for Judge Frank Caprio to bid farewell, the courtroom didn't just lose a judge, it lost a heartbeat. And none felt this more than Inspector Ziggy Quinn. In his emotional tribute, Quinn's voice broke as he described what it meant to work alongside Caprio for so many years. He spoke of the judge's kindness, his patience, and his ability to see the good in people, even when they couldn't see it themselves. Frank wasn't just a judge, Quinn said with tears in his eyes. He was my friend, my mentor, and the kind of man you don't meet twice in a lifetime. His words resonated with everyone present, reminding them that Caprio's legacy wasn't just about legal decisions. It was about people. It was about love. It was about humanity. Quinn recalled moments when defendants would break down in tears, thinking their lives were ruined because of a mistake. And then Judge Caprio, with his steady voice, would remind them that everyone deserves a second chance. I watched him change lives, Quinn said. I watched people walk into this courtroom with fear and leave with hope. That was Frank's gift. The tribute was filled with memories, funny ones, emotional ones, and unforgettable ones. Quinn remembered how Caprio would sometimes surprise even him with an unexpected ruling, followed by that mischievous grin. He'd look at me like, "Well, Ziggy, what do you think about that?" And I'd just shake my head, because he always had a way of making justice feel human. But perhaps the most touching part of Quinn's tribute was when he said, I don't just lose a colleague today, I lose my daily companion. The courtroom won't be the same without Frank's laughter, without his stories, without his heart. His words brought the entire room to silence, a silence filled with both grief and gratitude. For viewers who had grown to love the duo on screen, it was heartbreaking, yet inspiring. Their friendship was not scripted. It was real. And that's what made it so powerful. At a time when courts are often seen as cold and distant, Judge Caprio and Inspector Quinn reminded the world that justice can also mean kindness. As tears flowed and memories were shared, one truth became clear. Judge Frank Caprio's legacy is not just the rulings he made, but the lives he touched, especially the bond he shared with Ziggy Quinn. Their partnership will forever be remembered as one of the most genuine in television history. Today, as Inspector Quinn stood in that courtroom, his words echoed the feelings of millions around the world. The bond between the judge and the inspector wasn't just rare, it was priceless. And now, with Caprio's goodbye, it becomes a lesson for all of us. A lesson that true friendship can be found in the most unexpected places. A lesson that kindness, even in the halls of justice, can change lives. And a lesson that when we say goodbye to someone we cherish, the memories they leave behind will forever keep them alive in our hearts. Inspector Ziggy Quinn's tribute wasn't just for a judge, it was for a brother. And in that moment, the courtroom wasn't filled with laws and orders, but with love, respect, and the sound of a friendship that will never truly end.